May peace be upon you. Greetings to you and all viewers. As you know, a ceasefire agreement was reached and announced last Wednesday, and a statement was announced by the main mediators, Egypt, Qatar, and the United States of America, regarding this agreement, which will start tomorrow, Sunday morning. And as we're all aware, and as what has been reported, it is a three-phase agreement that should end with the complete Israeli forces withdrawal from the Gaza Strip and a permanent ceasefire. But it is still not completely clear. There will be negotiation by the end of the first phase to pave the way for the Israeli forces withdrawal. A number of Palestinian detainees in the Israeli prisons will be exchanged for the Israeli hostages held by Hamas after October 7th events. The hostage exchange in exchange for the ceasefire. We are very hopeful that the operation room to be formed in Cairo, and the agreement was entered into between Palestine and Cairo and Israel, will tackle all the issues that will arise from the implementation of the ceasefire. Israel will attempt to get out of this agreement with all means possible once they get the highest number of hostages.
Yes, sir. Building on what you said, considering Israel's poor track record of fulfilling commitments, can this agreement withstand the anticipated challenges and remain sustainable?
The more pressure applied on the Israeli Prime Minister by the internal extremist officials, the agreement will be compromised. But now the burden or the visualization of the situation is what is going to be done by the mediators, Egypt and Qatar and the US and the Trump administration that will assume office on Monday. How the US will allow Israel to do whatever they want, even in Lebanon after the agreement with Hezbollah, and as Israel is violating the agreement on a daily basis. So will Israel really withdraw from Gaza and focus on the West Bank to increase the settlements as one of the conditions of the agreement provided by Trump for Netanyahu to accept the agreement is increasing the Israeli presence in the West Bank. There is a lot of details that are not announced yet. The devil lies in the details, as you are all aware of. And in this agreement, there are a lot of unclear details that we hope for the guarantors and the other mediators to interfere with.
Now, sir, moving on to the humanitarian aid, what steps will be taken to guarantee the consistent delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza under the agreement?
According to the agreement, there will be 600 trucks entering daily to Gaza. The Rafah crossing between Palestine and Egypt will be opened, and this is what has been announced. The first point, how will the trucks reach all the Palestinian territories in the light of the Israeli forces' presence on the borders? How will the trucks go to these villages with the destroyed roads and deteriorated infrastructure? How will the aid be secured? with also the presence of the Hamas fighters, will they be officially deployed again? As per to the Ministry of Interior, the Hamas Ministry of Interior, they said they will handle the distribution of aid. What will Israel do about it? These are very important questions and they have not been answered by the agreement or the details announced. And we hope that we can find answers after the operation room meeting in Cairo.
Now, sir, delving into the Israeli internal situation, how do you evaluate the Israeli public sentiment towards the detainee exchange deal and the ceasefire?
A survey was carried out after announcing the agreement that 52% of the far wing, the far right, are supporters of this agreement, and the opposition is supporting the agreement, and there is also the cabinet or the war council and the government approval of this agreement. But there is also a lot of opposition to the agreement from the far right officials, including Smotrich and Ben Gvir, who strongly opposed the agreement, and they threatened that they would resign from the government. And that's why Netanyahu will try his best to get out of this agreement, not to lose control over his government. The right wing thinks that there was an opportunity for a lasting settlement in Gaza, and this opportunity is ending now. That's why they are opposing. And so I think that any attempt to a ceasefire is more concerns to the internal affairs in Israel. There will be calls for an early election unless Netanyahu manages to secure a political window for the continuity of his government. I think they will make up any issue or a violation to continue the fight in Gaza, because the only justification for the continuation of the Netanyahu government is the fight and the combat in Gaza.
So, sir, sorry for interrupting you here, but you've mentioned Trump's administration, and from here I would like to ask you, to what extent did Trump's return to the White House influence Israel's decision to support the ceasefire agreement?
It was perceived that Trump has a tendency to Israel. He is a supporter of Israel, and he took the decision of holding the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem and settling in Syrian Golan. But there is a lot of perception regarding that the ceasefire now is a success of Trump. And it has been reported in the Israeli and US media that Trump pressured the Israeli front and imposed the ceasefire agreement, and Netanyahu has no other choice but to submit to this agreement because he could not defy Trump. But about Trump continuing to support the ceasefire agreement, and will he provide to Netanyahu and Israel a bigger present, which is more normalization with Arab states? I think those questions will be answered during the upcoming period. And will he be a reason to an Israeli strike to the nuclear weapons in Iran? These questions will be answered later on.